That was the first time I made $1 million. We learned a very hard lesson, which is things crash and can come down to close to zero. So we lost everything. You know, a family member tried to sue us and one threatened to kill us. That's a whole nother story. But over-communicate. Don't shine the turd. Like, do your best, hustle. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, I get it. That's like startup life. It's never been easier to go from zero to $1 million, like being a millionaire. And it's never been harder to get a job.
What's the pitch when you go back out on the road to raise capital for a company that just went bankrupt? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Travis Makes Friends podcast. Today, I'm making friends with the one, the only Mike Lazerow. Mike, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Good to be out here in Vegas.
Oh, you know, it's a little busy right now, but we'll forgive F1 for ruining all the traffic in Vegas for a few days.
Well, the race doesn't race itself, so it's got to happen somewhere.
That's very true. I made the mistake of not accounting in the extra traffic time, so I apologize for being a couple minutes behind today.
No worries.
I have like this idea in my mind. I'm like, I know how long it takes me to get there, you know? And then as soon as I get in the car and get onto the road, I was like, I totally forgot.
And then it's like, Waze is lying.
It's going to be
Waze isn't right. I know better.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate you coming out, man. I'm looking forward to getting this conversation on the books. Seen some of your stuff recently, and we have several stories built into the arc of now what you and your wife Cass have been able to accomplish in your careers. But let's go all the way back in time and talk a little bit about the first dollar that you ever made. What was that? How old were you?
Yeah, so I always liked making money. So I always liked having money in my pocket. So the first dollar was actually shoveling snow, which is ironic because the book is shoveling shit, a love story. But
New York Times bestseller, by the way. Congrats.
Thank you. But grew up in the suburbs of DC. And so when it snowed, I grabbed a shovel. I went in their neighborhood. And it was all about the sidewalk. So you would get kind of $20 for the driveway, but the walkway to the house, you would get 10. That would take about 10 minutes. The driveway, like 30 minutes. And so you would make sure the 2 for 1, you would kind of get it all together.
Yeah.
And so
bundling and pricing already.
Yeah, I liked having money in my pocket. So I started my first company at Northwestern University. I went to journalism school. I'm a little older than you. So it was early internet. 1.0. You could see the end of journalism in many ways because of the death of classified ads. And so I started my first company there, and it was called UWire. That was the first time I made $1 million with one company. UWire ended up going public right before the dot-com crash. Don't get too excited.
I was going to say, so success story followed by not as much.
So we did well for being 22, but we thought everything was up and to the right until April 2000, where we learned a very hard lesson, which is things crash and can come down to close to zero. So we made enough money to parlay that into golf.com, which we sold for $25 million, and then kind of the rest is history.
Tell me about golf.com.
So golf.com was a simple thesis, which was you had a bunch of general interest sites. So Yahoo, Google was not around. But it was basically people indexing the web, which is kind of crazy to talk about today.
Yeah.
And I thought everything was going to move from these kind of broad sites to niche vertical sites. And golf.com was just this idea that let's just focus on rich people because advertising rates is better. I found it's just an easier business model. Like if you're going to do advertising, advertise to people who actually spend money. And we got really lucky. We bought golf.com from NBC. They were selling it at the time.
Crazy.
Which is crazy.
Looking back on that, it's insane to be like, you're just letting go of this media property? That's wild.
They got it as part of a bankruptcy proceeding from one of their companies. So they'd funded this company, Quokka Sports, and they spent like $500 million, or I think $500 million doing kind of yachting and golf and all these things. And they put up for sale. We were willing to bid up to $1 million. We got it for $279,000. We built it. We sold it. That company went bankrupt. We built it again after we bought it back and eventually sold that for $25 million to Time Warner.
What's the bridge between the gap of journalism and building website companies?
So I was an awful journalist and I couldn't keep, I have ADD. I couldn't keep like names straight. Like I remember writing a story on a dead man. It was a murder case and I spelled the guy's name wrong. And the family was more upset that I misspelled his name than the guy was dead.
Yeah.
And I kept making kind of like own goals.
Yeah.
And it was just clear that I wasn't, going to be a great journalist, maybe a writer, fiction, potentially.
Yeah.
And the way my mind works is if I'm interested in something, I can't stop focusing on it. And I went down the rabbit hole of the internet. And even when there were 13 million people on the internet when I started, and this was back when like Mark Cuban was getting started and like really early internet, you just knew it was going to change the world. Now, we had no idea what would happen.
To what extent?
Mobile and social and now like AI and all this stuff. But you knew it was the idea that information could flow frictionlessly around the globe.
Could be ubiquitous.
To me was like, and no one else knew anything about the internet. So if you're 20s, journalism pays $9,000 a year, right? If I want to go work at a Delaware State News or something like that. It was just a no-brainer. So started a company. I always wanted – my dad went bankrupt, and I never wanted to have financial like pressures. Like I remember like not just the financial pressure on him, but the mental health issues that he went through, and ending up in the mental hospital. And like it, almost drove him –
Wow.
It drove him, a place I didn't want to go. So I was really motivated not to make a ton of money necessarily – even though I wasn't against it, but just to be independent, to have the freedom.
To make enough money.
To do what I wanted. Because I knew I wasn't going to have the life I wanted behind a desk. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was .com era. You buy golf.com.
Yep.
Was the original intention behind golf.com what it ended up being, or did it pivot along the way?
We thought we were going to be handicap tracking. My wife played golf at Dartmouth.
Okay.
Which is a very short season. It's not very impressive of a feat, but she's still a great golfer.
I was going to say, playing golf at any sort of level beyond getting out there and ball hunting is something that I strive for. So
she played tennis at Dartmouth. She played professional tennis. She played golf. And we thought that we were just going to do like handicap tracking. Like, let's do a recreational golf, site that let kind of golfers track their handicap. And what happened is we just got really lucky. There was this kid named Tiger Woods who all of a sudden won the Masters by 12 strokes, and no one had ever won the Masters who looked like Tiger. He was young, and he became, people don't realize how big he was. Basically Taylor Swift for sports. Like you say Tiger, and everyone in the world from China to the Philippines to the U.S. knows who he is. We rode that. I mean, thank you, Tiger and Phil. Like literally all of his sponsors were our sponsors. It was Buick, it was Amex, it was Nike at the time, Titleist, and they wanted more Tiger. And golf.com was the #1 site. So we went from zero to a few $1 million in revenue.
All advertising or mostly advertising?
At the time, advertising was most of the revenue. We also sold tee times and stuff, but the margins weren't there.
So it was more media for golfers was monetized through sponsorships.
Yeah, we had handicap tracking and all the rest of the stuff, but Tiger was just, we just locked into a really big pool of rich people.
Well, that's sort of what business is, right?
It's so much luck.
You take a bunch of swings, and then sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't.
Every great entrepreneur has to bust their ass. They have to shovel shit. They have to like do the right stuff, right? Focus on the right things. But that doesn't mean that's like table stakes, right?
Yeah, well, they'll always say the struggle is guaranteed, the success is not.
Yeah. And it's, and every company is right for a certain time. Like Liquid Death 10 years ago, the water company would not have survived, but because of social and content spreading, it did. And every business is like that, right? And so, I'm jealous of young entrepreneurs. I've been spending the time this week with seems to be young billionaires and in the AI space. That's why I'm out here in Vegas. And AI is the greatest, kind of field for entrepreneurs to play around in because the money's so big if you get it right. So it's, you have to pick the right spaces. I
was going to say, are there any sort of unique opportunity? Like if you said you're a little jealous of young people, is that from a place of, man, if I was 26 right now and I was savvy on this AI thing, I would be doing this thing because I think this would be a tremendous idea. I just don't have the time to attack it.
Yeah, I'm seeing it across the board. I have a company called Cursor that basically says, let's make it easier to build, applications. And it's basically, you just talk to it and say, build an iPhone app, and it builds it, right? It started by a kid in his young 20s, early 20s, a $35 billion company. It'll be over $100 billion company.
Oh my
Not just because of
gosh.
investors, but revenues, $500 million of revenues, because
$500 million in revenue?
yeah, because people are using it and saying, this is fucking incredible. Like, I'm using it.
That's wild.
I just built a whole dashboard for all of our social media stuff, and I'm not an engineer, but I just tell it what to do, and it prompts me, and I tell it, and he says, go do this. And so, and I'm seeing it firsthand because my son, Miles, has an internet company. He's 23, and it's as hard as any other company that I did, but so creative. And I just think that, we have this concept of like 10x engineers, right? All of our companies, we had like, a lot of engineers, but there were a few that were like 10x, right? They're so much better. What AI does is it creates 10x entrepreneurs, because you're using it not only on the engineering side, you're using it to scale marketing, to scale ops, to scale how you hire people.
Yeah.
And so you have these like, I just met with, Anchor Jane, who has built rewards.
Yeah.
And
He's been a guest on the show.
yeah,
actually.
no, so I bring him up. And so, he was in New York, we had dinner, and what he's able to do to get to like hundreds of billions of dollars of transactions with, 200 people. He's not an AI company, but you look across the board, AI is driving efficiencies. And I'm not jealous. I'm very happy where I am.
Of course. But I know what you're saying, though, yeah.
I look at them like, man, like if you don't have any responsibilities, if you could just focus, surround yourself with great people, it's never been easier to go from $0 to $1 million, like being a millionaire.
Yeah.
And it's never been harder to get a job. So you go try to get a job, spend all of your time to make 30 grand a year.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to go wait tables, which is what my son Miles said, go do what you need to do, but invest in yourself, invest in your network, surround yourself with people who make yourself better, who teach you stuff.
Yeah.
I learned all this AI stuff because I love surrounding myself with young people and innovators.
Yeah. That is something I've been thinking about a lot lately in terms of the future of commerce and the economy and what AI is going to do to that. Do you have blueprint might be the wrong word, but advice for young people that because the obvious thing is basically just to say like, oh, go be an entrepreneur. But then you look at the difficulties of entrepreneurship and you realize like, well, not everybody's really built to be an entrepreneur, right? But in this world of AI where a lot of those challenges are maybe made a little bit easier to be able to tackle because you don't have to bring on these 6 employees that you would have had to bring on before, and your payroll is significantly less. And like, I guess my take on it, the future of that, in my opinion, is going to look more like fractionalized entrepreneurship, where it's like there's fewer people that are trying to build billion-dollar businesses, but there's more people that are building $350,000 a year businesses on 68% profit type of thing, because that's going to outpace whatever job they'd be able to get, and they have complete freedom over their time, right? What is your kind of opinion on this?
So I agree with that. And so it's that 100%. So you're going to be able to create a business with, a business is like you sell a product and have enough margin left over so you could pay for your general and accounting and all of the like organizational stuff, and then have some profit left over. That's not a business class, but it's like, that's my journalism brain thinking, right? Like that's all a business is. And so AI attacks both the generation of revenue, so the outbound sales with AI. It also reduces costs, so across the organization. So a $100,000 company in the past, maybe you couldn't make a living, but if it's just you now, maybe you can, right? The billion-dollar business can scale much faster as well. So it's both. Most companies are going to look like companies today, small businesses, right? They'll just be smaller. And the same thing happened with like the steam engine, right? The same thing happened with all this technology, that it didn't replace people. It made people more productive. Yeah. And I'm not one of these people who said, watch out for AI. I think, AI soldiers are happening, and all this technology is not going to be good for the world. We know. Sure. But how can you use it to buy your time back, really, which is what I'm using it for.
So with golf.com, do you view that as really like your first kind of swing at learning more about business? Was that, or was that the first business?
The first business, University Wire, was by far, like, I learned a lot there.
Okay.
I learned more at golf.com because the company went bankrupt and we bought it back.
Okay.
So we sold it, and the company we sold to was a Silicon Valley company, and they went bankrupt. We bought it back. But
how did they go bankrupt?
Well, everyone did, because it was the .com. We sold it in end of 99.
Oh, you sold golf.com.
We sold golf.com to a company called ChipShot that was backed by Sequoia.
Gotcha.
And like all these internet companies at the time, burning cash, like just losing money, scheduled to go public. No one's going public because NASDAQ crashes 50% in one day in April of 2000. And we got a call saying, we can no longer fund your payroll. If you'd like to buy it back, you can buy it back. We hit the road. We bought it back.
So you had to raise money to buy it back?
We raised $1.5 million to buy it back. And, from a group in Chicago, which is where we were living. We went out west. We went to New York.
What made you want to buy it back? Did you have a lot of stock tied up in it, or did they pay you?
At the time, we had put a lot of our money from my first business into it. I work with my wife, Cass. She does operations. I do, all the business development and, sales, and I raise money. And we were all in. We had one son. We didn't have another idea.
Okay.
The internet was caving, but our little golf.com as part of this larger group was still profitable.
Yeah.
And so this group wanted nothing to do with it. They just tried to cut expenses. We were just hustling.
Yeah.
We didn't have any other options. And we wanted it. Like, hey, we sold it for equity.
Yeah.
Didn't make any money, bought it back.
Got it. So it was almost 100% equity deal or 100% equity deal?
It was all equity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we lost everything, and our investors. We actually lost a lot of friends, and a family member tried to sue us, and one threatened to kill us. That's a whole nother story. But
because they lost money in the deal?
Yeah, it was before a time when we had this angel investing culture, and so it was just personal.
Yeah.
I remember one of the investors at the time, said, "Don't take this personally." But I'm like, "What about this is not personal? I'm working with my wife. We're all in. We have one son. Yeah, literally. Like, don't take this personal." But and I remember, I'm like, "Oh, this is the most personal thing I will ever do."
Right.
Because my life depends on it. My wife is my partner.
Yeah.
I now have a son, and we just bought kind of a small little, row house in Chicago.
Yeah.
So we learned probably most from that failure at golf.com.
Yeah.
And then when Facebook launched their platform, so they basically opened up the Facebook platform to developers and said, please build social applications. This was way before, Facebook had destroyed democracy and mental health and all the stuff that we used to like. We were very excited about Facebook. So we dove into that ecosystem and built a company that was the largest marketing technology platform on Facebook and Twitter, was now X, and YouTube and Instagram, and sold that for about $1 billion to Salesforce.
Okay. So golf.com, I want to go back to this moment because I think this is the important part. Is it's easy to point at the flashy things and be like, $1 billion exit, New York Times bestseller, wild success. Yeah. But when you're in the thick of that, when it's you think you did a great job, right? You built this company out of nothing. It had solid revenue enough to exit for, you said $25 million. But that was about 100% equity deal.
Well, so $25 million was the Time Warner,
that was the second exit.
And that was all cash.
Okay,
that we learned.
I was going to say, yeah.
But it was actually, the value was more, but it was a private to private company. It was all bullshit, right?
Okay.
It was just private stock.
Yeah, it's all abstract numbers that don't actually mean anything. But you sold it and still patting yourself on the back, successful moment, feel good, feel like, man, we won't ever have to do anything again.
We felt rich.
This is, right. Exactly.
We were more than feeling good.
We
were
see your net worth on paper, you're like, well, we're done.
Pets.com was public, and they're trading at $5 billion. You had eToys, which is not that dissimilar from what we were doing now with golf commerce. So on paper, we're like, oh, we made it.
Yeah.
$100 million, we're done.
So what do you do? What's the pitch when you go back out on the road to raise capital for a company that just went bankrupt?
Yeah, so what we did is it was the same thesis, but the valuation we lowered.
Okay.
And so we ended up giving away half the company.
to get the 1.5.
to get that. And it was painful, but do we want to own zero
Right.
or 100% of zero or, get that? And we didn't have enough money to fund the whole thing ourselves.
And they didn't completely destroy it either, right? As an asset. It was still cash
100%.
flowing. It was still producing.
We could save it. We knew that we could save it because media at the time, there's no Google. So advertisers would spend with websites and ad networks that would aggregate websites.
Right.
And we had a commerce business that was growing. So we knew that with 3 million affluent people, we can make money off that. And we did for, I think, 4 more years.
4 more years. Okay.
And then, we got an offer from Time Warner that owned Golf Magazine.
Gotcha.
They hadn't really launched a website. They had a website, but it was more of like, hey, buy the magazine. It wasn't like a media site.
Right.
And golf.com became that.
Yeah.
I worked there for a year. And
so it was a full-on media property at that point.
100%.
Getting millions of impressions every month.
And that's when Tiger, 2000, 2005, that's when Tiger went on his run.
Heater.
Yeah, he was just, I mean, it was incredible to watch. And we were up front. We covered him, the tours, live scoring,
right?
Trying early video, which didn't really work because you couldn't compress it.
Yeah,
and
page load times were garbage.
But we knew that it was we had a business, probably not huge. And so when we got the offer, it was like, game on. 1, we made a little money. 2, we wanted to move to New York.
A little money, yeah. Just
we didn't own all of it. I mean, at the time it was a lot for us.
Right. It's still life-changing. It's still a point where it's like, well, we had nothing. Now we have a few million and we can build something cool again after
And it let us move to New York, which was the most important thing.
Why did you want to move to New York?
We went from Chicago, where there was really no internet stuff. Our families are in D.C. We had moved to D.C. to try that out. And let's just say it didn't stick. You haven't met my mother. I love my mother, but maybe we shouldn't live in the same cities. Love you, Nancy Zirkin. That's her name.
More of a Thanksgiving, Christmas type thing.
So, and I'm very close with her. So I wouldn't joke if I.
Yeah, of course.
And learned a lot from her. And, she's very close with Cass as well. But we, it wasn't easy.
Sure.
She's a very strong woman. And so we wanted to get to New York really for business.
Sure.
It was at a time when the internet, you could feel it. We'd go to New York and, you had companies that were building.
Right. DC
at the time, a little AOL, but it wasn't really we knew we weren't going to be in the access game.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you end up moving to New York. Where did the idea for this other business come into play? Was it branching off of any problems you had at golf.com or why?
No, it was really I think a lot of entrepreneurs have ideas. I have tons of ideas. Most of them don't get built. I go to Cass. Right. I bring them to my wife, Cass, and she just says, "You're the worst person ever. That's the stupidest idea I've ever heard." And I appreciate that. And she's not a pessimist. She's just a radical realist. Builder. Yeah, and she's if we're going to put our time in, let's just think it through. I'm just let's do it. It's cool. And she was delivering our 3rd child, Vivian, who's crazy now in college, and she has all of her kids C-sectionally. And so, very narrow birth canal. I assume you know that about Cass. And so it's
part of my research.
Yes, you guys go deep. She's in surgery because that's what C-sections are. And I'm on my BlackBerry and it's Facebook launches the platform. I was already on Facebook because I was infatuated with that space from UWire, my first business.
Okay.
And we tried some community stuff, but I'm not nearly as smart as Zuck, obviously. And I'm just this changes the internet. The internet at the time was a kind of a one-player experience. You go to weather.com, you go to USA Today. Maybe you go to AOL to chat, which is kind of at the time a little garbage.
Yeah, it was AIM.
It was just garbage. But Zuck's like real identity. We're giving you the social graphs. All of a sudden, you could build games, play poker against friends. That's what Mark Pincus did at Zynga, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm starting to remember. So this was basically when they launched the ability to do stuff within the ecosystem of Facebook with your friends and whatever.
And so we looked at it as, okay, we're in marketing, so brand marketing, advertising agencies, big brands. What does this mean for brands? And so we ended up pivoting a few times, but we really built the system to let companies like Unilever and Ford and 9 out of the top 10 global brands do all their paid media on Facebook and, their publishing of content. And
but it was a separate application.
Yeah, they used our software because if you're a big company, you needed to how do you publish content in 100 different languages in 90 countries if you're like Dove soap, right? Or like Ford. And so you need to provision it to agencies, provision the system to social media managers. We had all of that technology. And we built the system that Facebook didn't have time to build because they were focused on engagement, right? As a consumer app.
Sure.
So we worked really closely with them. They would be onboarded onto Buddy Media, and then they would spend money with Facebook. So we would get like 60 grand a year, like $5,000 a month. And then Facebook would get millions, right?
Right. Because
but we were
from
that
the ad
first.
spend.
Exactly. Like they had a much better business, obviously. But we were one of the fastest growing companies. We went from 0 to 50 million of annual recurring revenue, and in 3 years from launching that. But it was luck.
This
It's getting
self-funded?
back to luck. It was not.
Okay, so you raised outside capital.
We raised $100 million.
You raised it through the life of the company.
Yeah.
What did you raise to get it started?
Get started was 1.7 million.
And is that angels again, or is that?
Yeah, it was people who we thought were important to the ecosystem. It was Mark Pincus, Zynga. It was Peter Thiel, who at the time was on the board of Facebook. It was Howard Lindzen, Roger Ehrenberg, all these guys. We've all grown together.
How did you get in touch with them at that time?
Usually warm intros.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'd helped Howard Lindzen sell a business to Comcast.
Okay.
It was Golf Now, the tea time company.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went to him. He made an intro to Mark Pincus and Roger Ehrenberg, who's a great investor at IE Ventures.
So shied away from friends and family for that one.
We went back to everyone who reinvested with us at golf.com. We believe that if people support us, we will continue. But if they're a pain in the ass, we can't.
Yeah. Yep.
If you threaten to kill us, we can't. We can't work with you again.
You're just going to blackball that name here. Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't blame them. I mean, we don't like losing money, but everything we do, even at the time we didn't have as much money, our time was so much more valuable than their money. In terms of we only had limited amount of time, and many of these people had a lot of money. And so when these companies don't work out, losing 5 years of your life.
Yeah, I can't spend 5 years to make you back 50 grand.
Yeah. And I think great investors kind of really partner with entrepreneurs and say, okay, we've invested over 100 companies. It's their company. I'm here to do whatever you need. Just ask. Hopefully one thing at a time, not too much. And just over communicate. Don't shine the turd. Do your best, hustle. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, I get it. That's startup life. It's not I'm
going to steal that phrase, don't shine the turd.
That's a title. That's a chapter title of the book, because we learned very early that I remember at golf.com board meeting, I'm very optimistic. And, we're and one of the board members who's this hedge fund guy, asked me about sales. Oh, it's great. It's great. It's coming. I got it. And then
We'll get to that.
He's like, I remember he slammed his, it's not great. Stop fucking bullshitting me. Don't shine the turd. I don't care what's going on, good, bad. I want to know it all. I don't want to be bullshitted to. And we that conversation when I was probably 25 has stuck with me all the time.
Yeah.
And I've told entrepreneurs this is I want the bad news.
Yeah.
I know you're going to tell me the good news.
Yeah.
It's just the way we're hardwired.
Right.
People are okay with bad news. We all have had trauma in our life. We all have dealt with adversity in some. We don't like surprises. We don't we thought we had that in the bank, but we're not broke. That's it drives us crazy, right? It makes us feel crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So early stages, raise a little bit of money, things start going well pretty immediately?
Not immediately. So we launched something called Ace Bucks, which was our first product, and it landed with a thud.
And what was that product? What did it do?
So I was spending a lot of time with Mark Pincus, who was building Zynga. It's called Presidio Media. And he was building a poker game, which became Zynga Poker. And Ace Bucks was this web-wide currency point system that could be used in his games, but across the web. So it's like a loyalty program.
Okay.
That
sort of like
earned
credits.
points. Yeah. The problem is I'm not an economist. Like it was like massive inflation, and I'm just like, oh, here's $8, here's $8, and it just didn't work as like an economy.
Yeah.
But we pivot really fast. Like one of our strengths as entrepreneurs is we throw shit away. Like if it's not working and you know it, like you know it right away, then you tell yourself stories for 2 weeks. Yeah. Right? Like you're like, oh shit,
I don't know what you mean.
Whatever it is, like relationships, you're like, your gut like always knows. Yeah. Even if you don't have like the metrics, you're like, this just is not happening.
Just can't get emotional about it.
And so we are constant. It's more Cass, like people call her the executioner. Yeah. She executes the business model, but she like executes, like she lays people off and she changes, like she helps us pivot. Yeah. And then, we did custom applications, which went pretty well. So we did stuff like the FedEx send a virtual gift type package, like app, but it wasn't scalable. Okay. And we really, at this point in our careers after like the other businesses, we wanted a scalable venture-backed business. We wanted to like make some real money and have some freedom. And then we pivoted into software, which we wouldn't have called it Buddy Media if we knew it was going to be a software company. And it just took off because...
So you didn't even have an intention around like, this is the problem we're trying to solve when you started this business. The business was more like, we need to take advantage of this Facebook application marketplace somehow.
100%.
And let's try this. Didn't work, kill that in 4 weeks. Try this, doesn't work, kill that in 4 weeks. Try this, a little bit of success. Let's keep doing that, basically.
Yeah, 100%. And it's I didn't feel like we had time to wait. I had huge conviction on Facebook.
But you raised all the money before version 1 of the first product.
Yeah, well, 1.7 million.
So
raise on the dream.
Yeah. So
because once you have reality, it might be hard to raise. So it's like raise before you've done anything early on. I'm not saying your late stage capital will come from your numbers. Right. But
that's definitely one of those weird things about raising money that's so almost backwards. It's like a company that doesn't have any revenue is more likely to raise money than a company that has some revenue, but not great revenue.
At least in the venture space. Yeah. And you see it all the time, right? Like when Mike Lazerow pitched Liquid Death, I was like, I love it. Like we were the seed investors, the Series A.
Just from the beginning. I was going to ask you about that a little bit later, but let's dive into that a little bit more because it's a water company.
He's a story. They'll start as a water company, and then it became sparkling, and now it's like soda replacement and teas, and we have the biggest launch ever this month, which is energy. So
oh, really? So I didn't see that.
Well, we haven't really started pushing it. Okay. I have some of the initial product. It's awesome.
I love Liquid Death, so
it's a great product.
We can hook up some sponsorships.
I'll send you some of this product.
I'll be happy to replace all my drinks on my show forever.
It's 1 cup of coffee, so it's a little less caffeine. Okay. It's all natural. It doesn't taste like chemicals.
Love it.
And I know it's going to be incredible because my daughter, who's 18, if you get the young women and the cool kids, you get everyone.
Yeah.
And
especially with a brand like that.
And she's like, this is the best product. Like, this is the best energy drink I've ever tasted.
Yeah.
And she crushed, all of my kids crushed it.
There'll be a lot of energy drink companies that are going to be very upset to see that announcement.
Oh, it's awesome. It's been announced and it's going to be like, it's a big push, like big retail push, big.
Good.
But the interesting thing is like when he pitched it, he's a great storyteller. Actually, Mike Lazerow, let me just say, he's probably the best entrepreneur I've ever worked with.
Wow.
And the reason is very simple. I didn't understand this. So we're like 5 or 6 years in until very recently. He knows what he doesn't know. Most entrepreneurs get in trouble because they think they're smarter than they are and they know things that they don't know. He knows marketing. He's the single best marketer of our generation.
And he's got the proof. Like it'd be hard to argue that statement.
He's done it. There's no one else.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I pointed out, like, it's a water, like, how many water companies are out there? How many legacy
There are 20,000 that he beat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He beat 20,000.
And a lot of them are legacy. Like, they've been around for like 90 years. You know?
The key is that he's like, I know I'm a market. I know how to market. I don't know supply chain. I don't know distribution. I don't know. And he's built an incredible team.
So what was the pitch when he first came to you?
The pitch was great, which was every product that's marketed well is bad for you. Why can't we create a wellness product that is both good for you and good for the earth?
And And water was the goal at the beginning?
It wasn't a goal. He actually tried a bunch of different products when
like
he pitched
supplements
me,
and stuff?
well, when he pitched me, it was water.
Okay.
But when he started, it came out of his work, and I knew him through Gary Vaynerchuk, who started his whole operation from one of our conference rooms, and so I knew a lot of his people, and he was a star creative director, Mike Lazerow.
Okay.
So I knew he was a great marketer.
So he was working with Gary.
Yeah, at VaynerMedia as a creative director, and then he went on to some big agencies, and he would pitch these ideas, and the clients would be like, no, like I'm not doing one of his early ideas, which is the country club where you sold your soul, to liquid death in exchange for joining the country club. That was an idea that came from I forget the client. Yeah. And so he's
they turned it down basically.
Yeah. And so he's like, I'm going to create a product that I can do my marketing. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't water. He started with, I think, some functional beverages, maybe alc. Okay. And then he's like, water's the biggest market of non-alc. It's the biggest market. And he just attacked it, and he surrounded himself with great people. Peter Pham, at Science, and Mike Jones, and he was hungry, and he's been able to just hire great people, and focus on what he knows, set the vision for the business. So his vision was not just kind of the marketing, but it was let's get plastics out of the ocean. Okay. So it's the
environmental side. Yeah.
Why are we doing these plastic bottles? And so
when he first, so you were the first check.
I was in the seed,
in the seed round. Okay.
Yeah, there were a few of us who did it together.
Was there sales at that point?
No.
Was there progress?
There's no product created yet.
No way. Okay, so he literally was just like, I want to create this brand, and we're going to sell water in a can.
Yes.
And you were like, all right, here's money.
I mean, it wasn't a ton of money. It was $100,000. It wasn't I'm not going all in.
Yeah,
I'm not mortgaging
But you just looked at it from your perspective as a marketer, business owner, as the visionary side of this, and said this guy's going to do something with this.
Yeah, and I give my wife credit because she thought it was the stupidest thing ever, and it's going to work.
Yeah.
She's
this is so dumb, but also it's
and it is dumb.
Yeah.
Let's not forget this.
That's one of my favorite brands, man, because I just love the story. As soon as I read the little thing that's on the side of the cans,
so good, strangling your thirst.
Yeah, I was just like, this is going to win. It just can't, because you can't help but show it to people. I'd have people come over before Liquid Death was really, really big. Yeah. And I was doing podcasting, and I'd have people come over and be like, grab something out of the fridge, give it to them. They think it's a beer, first of all.
Yeah, that's why kids love it.
Right. You think it's a beer, and then it's I don't want a beer. It's it's just a water. But I was like, read the little thing on the side though. They're always like, ha ha ha. It's gets a visible chuckle out of people. You want to show it to people. And it's this is built-in referral-based product-first marketing that there's no way it's going to do poorly as long as the product is actually good, which the product was actually good.
All the products are good. And, he taught me this, you can't please everyone. So his whole thing, which I really have adopted across the board, is you want people, half the people to love you and half the people to hate you. If people are yeah, it's okay. That's not a good business. Yeah. A good business is not 100% of the people saying, it's good. Yeah. You want people, and I remember he said, we're going to have people create tattoos. There's been over 1,000 tattoos that we know about. They're the Liquid Death skull.
That's wild.
And that's a brand, right?
Yeah.
But if he had, the reason I bring that up, he sold the vision. Then if I had known what it took to put the water in the can, and get the can to the distributors, and get the distributors to sell it into the retailers, and get the retailers to push it to their customers, I would have been no.
Right. I don't know if this is going to go anywhere.
And the reason I even bring that up is then the next few rounds were hard. So we led the Series A, at my firm.
Oh, really? Okay, so you personally put money in the seed round.
We personally did and then the firm, Velvet Sea Ventures, did and we were psyched about the company, but let's just say there wasn't a ton of demand for their stock. So we did it, but we didn't beat out people because they now had launched. We believed in it, but we were oh man, these numbers, we're losing money on every can. Yeah. This isn't a good thing.
And it's fairly atypical for a company like that to raise venture funding, right? You don't see a ton of physical products or water or even supplement brands that are we need to go raise $10 million in venture capital.
It's hard. I mean, we don't do it. I've done one CPG deal. We're software. We've done you know,
well, you need the potential economies of scale to get the massive return that you're looking for one out of the 40 companies to actually be successful.
You need it. You know, there are companies that attempt to do it. Typically, it's insiders in the industry who have distribution or now creators. I'm a big believer in like, and I'm not talking about just
companies.
And I'm not just talking about Prime. I'm talking about like, what are you passionate about as a creator, and how do you like really put everything, every ounce of your being behind this?
Yeah,
I love that.
You know the Sour Strips?
Yeah, of course.
Founder? Yeah. Yeah, that was a crazy story to me.
Yeah,
that was because that was one where I looked at where it's like it's duplicatable as a creator.
Yeah,
where you look at something like Prime with Logan Paul, KSI. It's like there's just no way that they were going to fail with that. They have way too many subscribers in 2 geographic locations. Both of them leading the chart. Like, of course, and Mr. Beast, anything that he touches is going to do well.
But those
at least
are like conglomerates. I look at those as like the new P&Gs of the world. Right?
Sure. But then you have this other kid. I forget his first name, last name Tuning though. Who I think he had like 100,000, 150,000 subscribers. And I want to say it was mostly fitness or something like that. He just loved Sour Strips.
Yeah, no, I know the story.
Just wanted to create something, made some Sour Strips, and then a few years later sells for $100 million to Hershey. It's like, well, that's not a bad.
Put a bunch of acid on candy and like what really is awesome is most creators who make it, and I put you in this like category, like you are a business person. You're not just like talking to random schmucks, right? And when you combine business with distribution and passion, because as we write in the book, like there's no better place to find your purpose or your passion than like a company that you run. And when it all comes together, like it has with Gary Vee, right, who's now an influencer, but also like just a great business person. He built like a
business person first.
Yeah, he built his dad's wine company. Second. When he came to me, he basically had built his dad's company into $70 million a year sales and said, listen, I'm 34.
I didn't know it did that much.
Well, now it's more, but he's like,
that's crazy.
I'm 34. I've worked for my dad since I graduated since college. Never made more than 100,000. He won't give me equity. I don't have money for an office. Can I use your conference room? Which was about the size of this, which he then filled up with 30 people with AJ and these college friends, and then they're off and running, right? Because he focused on customers, and so I think now it's like I love creator-led businesses, love, and Slow Ventures is doing a great creator fund, and
Liquid Death was sort of the opposite of that, where it was like the brand was the creator. If that makes sense. Like it wasn't a figurehead. It wasn't a single it wasn't a personal brand that was leading that charge, but the brand was so good at communicating to the audience that it was sort of looked at like a creator-led brand.
It is Liquid Death has a voice.
Correct. Yeah, it's at least a creative
and that brand. Voice is like they spend 10 grand on a video.
Yeah.
But the idea is so good.
Right.
Look at any of their ideas.
I just saw one recently that was posted. It was about like the big cans, small cans.
Yes, it's the best. It's the best. And like, wait till you see next year. Like I can't talk about any of the stuff, but it's only getting better because they now have like tens of millions of followers and data and like, and most importantly, when you're a creator, whether it's Liquid Death or you or anyone, like the brands are coming to you, right? Like the collabs are coming to you. It gets easier.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, I tell young entrepreneurs all the time, like, don't just build your network, but build in public, connect with people, share, like build distribution. I wish we continued after Buddy Media, but we were a little burned out and we just stopped. Now we're kind of picking it up again.
Yeah. On the creator side, you're saying?
Yeah, just putting content out that people value.
I see. Yeah.
But I wouldn't look at it as like we're creators or influencers, but if we can help entrepreneurs like get to the future faster or help executives get to the future faster, like they'll follow us and hopefully do business with us.
So with Buddy Media, what was the product that ended up really scaling the company?
Social media management system.
Okay.
It's
it was a software.
Software that lets you control all of your social media from publishing to ads to analytics. And it was the most powerful, both from what it could do, because we had we had hundreds of employees, unlike some of the small ones. And, it was built for kind of big companies that needed like security. onboarding of different teams, different languages. We had offices in Singapore and, London and where were Australia, LA, San Francisco, Chicago. So we touched customers and we held their hands in many ways, onboarding them to social, just like companies are onboarding to AI right now and doing really well.
And again, another great example of like putting in the work, doing everything that's required, working overtime, great idea, executed well, sprinkle of luck, sprinkle of timing to be able to hit Facebook when everybody realized they all of a sudden needed to be advertising on Facebook. And there's a huge period of time where it went from like $10 million being spent in annual Facebook ads to $2 billion being spent.
Yeah, P&G, that's what they did.
Yeah.
And it's not a sprinkle of luck.
Yeah. It's a whole helping.
It's a sprinkle of hard work
and potatoes
and a fuck ton of luck. And I say that not in a self-deprecating way. We picked Facebook at a time that like MySpace, LinkedIn, Friendster were bigger than them. But I thought, Zuck's vision for the social web was so compelling when he had 20 million people. I met with them when they had less than 200 people in Palo Alto above the pizza place. And it was just incredible. Like it was like you could feel it happening. The fact that they actually executed and like created, like it was not only lucky for the business, but I was able to invest in Facebook and it just became it was very lucky. Because it was run by a bunch of kids who could have fucked it up. Like, who should have, most of them.
And a lot of them did. There's 1,000 other Facebooks, too, that tried to do exactly what Facebook did that have
And they tried hard, if you saw the movie, to screw it up.
Right,
so it's like these things don't, even they got very lucky. Like why didn't these other companies get it right?
Yeah.
Like Built Rewards, great company, right? Why didn't another credit card company say you could pay your rent with our credit card?
Yeah.
Right? Like there's so much that goes into that success, which is why I'm so excited as someone who's not the smartest guy in the room. Like make your own luck, like be there, be on the field when it happens. You can never get lucky if you're not like rolling the dice or actually doing something.
So why did you write the book?
I mean, I didn't want to. My wife, Cass, it was on her bucket list. And I knew that it was, like we writing a book would be me as a journalism grad.
I see.
What I didn't know, she'd saved all of our lessons. So she really kind of outlined it.
Okay.
I did the writing. She had tried to edit. She got better at editing, but like the first few, we actually had some marital issues at the beginning because I'd like write a chapter and she'd be like, actually it's taken me back to that time where I was like not happy. She'd be like, I don't like it. Okay.
Well,
let's
you
go.
write it then.
No, I'm like, okay, what do you not like? It's just not doing it for me.
Yeah.
That's not editing.
Right.
Like, here's what I wrote. Like, and then she'd sit down and like we'd talk it through. And then the second chapter is a little more. We would do it on Sundays because we have like a lot of like work, so we took Sundays to do it. We're empty nesters now. And eventually we loved it because we got so many stories. It was like 500 pages, cut it down to like, I wanted a like really tight book.
Practical.
But fun. Like, some of these stories I talk about, including Liquid Death and, this goofball Gary literally showing up at our door because we were in the social media space, sitting in hotel rooms with like Travis from Uber and Kevin at Instagram at South by Southwest talking about, how Kevin would never sell his business and Travis's vision before he launched. And so we had a front row seats to the creation of a lot of great businesses, but we wrote it for the pizza parlor owner, for someone who's running a salon. Yeah. So it's written for the 5 million businesses started every year who don't have the safety net of venture investors, who are all in, who are family businesses like Cass and me. Yeah. Right? Who the wife may be cooking or the husband cooking and the other one up front on the restaurant. And the reaction's been great. I mean, it was a bestseller because we worked hard. We didn't want to write a book called Shoveling Shit, a love story about this entrepreneur's messy path to success.
And not use work. That to do the book.
Yeah, we're like, if we're going to do it, and that's the part we didn't understand of like, So we did a lot of speaking, a lot of like podcasts, and we've loved it.
Yeah.
And traveling together and now like getting paid to speak, which is kind of still weird. But
yeah, I was going to ask like what with what you're doing now versus building, operating and stuff like that. How have you found podcasting or writing or speaking? Like, is there something that you enjoy more than the other things?
So I love content. I mean, I went to journalism school, and so we're having a lot of fun with the Cass and Mike brand, and we have some great stuff planned for next year, like ticketed events and going to college campuses and like super fired up. And so one of the lessons of the book is focus. Like you can do anything, you can't do everything. And so we were hyper focused forever. We did like one company at a time. Then we launched the venture fund. Then we launched our kind of private equity business, buying businesses. And now we have the book. And so just last Saturday, we did our own like focus exercise. What do we want to focus on? And so we cut a lot out, and it's basically venture, running businesses. We don't run them. We have operating partners. And then we really want to invest in content. We think that it's a lot of it's like more legacy. Like, can we touch more entrepreneurs? Can we help companies? But it's fun. I mean, I wouldn't have met you, right? You would just be another voice in my like podcast.
That's one of the nice things about this, man. I've been preaching this for the past like 7 or 8 years, but it's like if you find yourself in the boat of lacking solid relationships, then just start a damn podcast. You know what I mean?
I like around others. I don't want my own. Like, I love just hanging out.
Well, you're not somebody who lacks relationships. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah,
but still, this whole process has done 2 things. One is I've learned who my friends are. So if you want to like know who really supports you, write a book. So there are people who we've made, over $50 million who basically said they don't have budgets for books. You learn a lot about people, right? And literally my response, like, are you shitting me? Like, is this are you punking me?
Right.
Are there cameras here?
What do you mean you don't have budget for
like,
books?
oh no, this is like, that was a different firm. And now I'm like, you made the millions off it.
Right.
So that's the one thing, which is,
that's pretty wild.
Pretty cool. And then the second thing is about the book itself. It just opens up opportunities. Like we've met so many awesome people who we will do business with, like real people who are also hustling. Like, I don't know if you know Ryan Alford, who we love, who's awesome. Ryan Alford from South Carolina. He came up to our launch party, and like these are people who will be friends for the next 50 years of our life. We think we have 50 years left. We probably don't. I've got like artificial heart and stuff, and I'm 51.
You have an artificial heart, you said?
Yeah, like heart valve, and it's been rebuilt.
Wow.
So I probably don't have 50, but we're planning as if we do. Cass is older, but she looks younger and will live longer. And every part of your life is like a different phase, right? You outgrow friends. There's some people you realize are toxic. Some people you realize you should have spent more time with. You meet, like we're a firm believer that we'll meet our best friends like any day.
Yeah.
Like there are people now who I consider best friends who I've met in the last 5 years. Now they're not immediately best friends. Like you got to spend time. You got to usually go through shit together with. And we love that. And that's what this process has done for us. And I would encourage everyone to like get out of their house.
Yeah.
Like even if you're not going on podcasts, just like show up. And it's nerve-wracking. Like I see this with my son and with other young entrepreneurs. But just show up and say, how can I help? How can I help? And you may think you don't have anything as like a, 8-year-old or whatever, however. I don't think there are a lot of 8-year-olds, but there are a lot of 8-year-old entrepreneurs. But if you're 21, you're like, oh, but you know something. You know something about AI. You know something about sports betting because you've bet. You know something about, whatever.
Yeah. Or you know someone who does.
Yeah. And just have that mentality forever of like, how can I help? And you will get like, we look back like, why did we give like a quarter of our office space to Gary Vaynerchuk? It was such a stupid business decision from us. I thought it was a goofball. I thought he had whatever it is. I don't think I could have said no to him because he was exactly the same. And like that gift, we have gotten back so many. Like we did a 3-hour live stream on a holiday we made up called National Shovel Day. which was on National Garden Day on like April 16th. And literally he sat on a live stream and we sold 1,500 books.
Wow.
To his community, right? From this gift that we did expecting nothing in return.
Right.
So whatever you have,
even
if it's not a lot, give.
Yeah.
And we're in a time when especially young men, don't have that mentality. It's they're very extractive. Like, what can I take?
Right.
And at the end of the day, you're going to need to find a spouse. You're going to need to find a way to support yourself, if not other people, way to protect other people, as Scott Galloway's talking about now. And it all starts with this mentality of giving and not just sucking out of the system.
I'm glad we ended up talking about this because obviously this is Travis Makes Friends podcast. Yeah. We talk a lot about friendship, loneliness, and things like that because I think that's going to be one of the bigger societal problems. I feel like there's sort of generational problems that we point at 25 years too late. Where there's an entire generation who's ends up being their entire life is affected by this thing that we didn't fix a little bit earlier. And I think right now, my generation specifically, and maybe older Gen Z as well, are going to be a part of this lonely generation where we're willing to sacrifice too much in order of the pursuit of success or pursuit of things or pursuit of even status. And we allowed things like social media to replace our connection time with people in person who actually matter to us. What are your thoughts or feelings about that? Do you see that this is happening? Have you seen anything different than that in your experience?
It has happened. We're in an epidemic, and I see it from a few places. We've written and spoken about this. We've had 3 young people, one very close to us, very close to us, lived with us, this past summer, who have killed themselves in the last 6 weeks. And one of them you would have never guessed this. We've 3 kids, New York City private schools. You meet a lot of kids. Troubled kids when you see them, right? Mm-hmm. And even the kids who have friends, have girlfriends, who are excelling from the outside are filled with uncertainty, doubt, and you just don't know. And so it's
the insidious nature of loneliness is it's subjective and it's internal.
And it's just not stuff that I thought about.
Yeah.
And I was just as miserable, I think. I was scared to ask a girl to dance. I was very shy. Mm-hmm. I almost didn't ask Cass to dance. I remember the wedding, but I finally, I was sweating. I'm oh, I got to ask. And so I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
But we're spending a lot of time thinking about it. I do know that, I wish I had asked, hey, is everything okay? Is there anything? Yeah. So asking that question, even if you don't know, we've had these conversations with our kids, I think they're okay, but hey, have you had any of these suicidal thoughts?
Yeah.
Now you don't have to say it like that,
sure.
But I notice you're not yourself. Is there anything you're going through that we could talk about, right? And I think we're in a time when men aren't allowed, or young men don't feel like they could be vulnerable, which is weird because that's all you're kind of seeing in social media. Mm-hmm. And you'd think that the more connected we were, and I think that a lot of that is because of social media's they continue to optimize for engagement. What is engaging is not that question I just asked.
Right.
And so, what to do about it, I don't know.
Yeah.
The question that I keep asking, young people. So now, we've been talking about it, we've been talking to individuals about it. And the question that seems to break through is okay, imagine you're not you, but you are a friend who comes to you with the same feelings, same thoughts, same emotions. You know the right answer. What would you tell them? Oh, I tell them to meditate and to slow down, to get into nature and to, exercise and move every day and focus on clean knitting and getting off my phones. And we know what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not an intellectual exercise. It's how do you put that into action?
Right.
And there's a lot of emotions. There's shame involved, FOMO. If I could I step away from Instagram. I don't know what's going on. So
bad beliefs. You're
and I think
yourself.
that's your role. I think you could have a role. Like I'm sitting here right now, there's one therapist in particular. I'm like, you should have like real professionals who like specialize in this, who are helping kids today.
Yeah. I'd love to.
Saving lives.
Yeah,
because if you can empower, I think the only way we get out of it is by empowering everyone with the right questions, like the right question. And then you actually have been talking about questions. Like you ask the right question and it opens up, right? Like build rewards. Like why can't you pay your rent on a credit card? Like, it's a simple question, right?
Yeah.
Like you seem off. Like what, like, is there anything you want to talk about, right? Problem is no one is asking that. So if we have 300 million people in this country asking that, I think it's maybe we save some lives.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, it's too easy to figure out how to hurt yourself.
Right.
We didn't have that. I would have known what to do. Mm-hmm. And if I did, I would have failed.
Yeah.
But now it's like so easy. Like,
right.
I'm not searching, but it's all the information's there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things I've been given a lot of thought to in the last year and a half, maybe 2 years now. And I got to think there's some sort of like good way to do it that will solve the problem and be actually like a scalable company too, because I think entrepreneurship is the path to solving most problems. It was great to see that the Surgeon General put out this massive report on loneliness and to raise it to epidemic levels and to shed some light on the problem. But ultimately, the problem is going to probably be solved through private enterprise and through people coming together rather than another government program type of a thing. But I would love to chat with more people about it.
Yeah, and anyone going through it, it's like I just keep coming back to this idea that it's like it's a permanent solution to a very temporary problem. Like the sun will rise. Like you're having these emotions today. You will not forever.
Right.
And so it's how people feel like they're not alone, right, is a huge crisis. I know a lot of my friends are focused on this. I think it's a big part of what Scott Galloway was doing with his book, who we've worked together forever.
Oh, have you? Okay. Scott's great. I love his stuff.
Yeah, no, he's great. And it's what he's getting at is like, what does it mean to be a man? A lot of it is about the softer stuff. And asking questions. It's not just about protecting people and providing. And
Of all the people that talk about masculinity, I like how he does it the most. His book, The Algebra of Happiness,
great.
Fantastic book. But
he's depressed. Like his natural
state.
Like, we worked very closely together. And I remember last time I had lunch with him, I'm like, you're fucking miserable. He's like, yeah, that's my natural state. So he can write about this stuff because he is depressed day to day, and he talks about that.
Yeah, well, but that's the great thing about it is that he's actually willing to talk about it.
He's miserable. His default is miserable.
Yeah, which is great that he wrote a book on happiness. Oh man, but if I've got any recommendations for him, man, I'd be happy to talk to anybody that you view as an expert on this topic. It's something I'm really interested in, and I think there's going to be a generational shift. I think sort of younger Gen Z and then Gen Alpha, hopefully my kids' generation will kind of be more like something's up here. You know what I mean? Maybe we shouldn't be using our phones to connect with people. Maybe we should get back to these. Like I'm sort of obsessed with the idea of in-person places to do things with people where phones are checked in at the door, or there's like a phone check-in area or locker system or something, where we just get out of defaulting to filling boredom with dopamine.
Yeah,
so that's essentially what it is. It's like I'll do that like. Like people have phantom limbs, where they didn't have a hand before. It's like my phone feels like its own phantom limb sometimes, where it's like I don't have my phone on me. I put it in another room purposefully so I don't get on it because I'm spending time with my kids or with my wife or something.
It's hard
and then you just go, oh, that's right, it's over there. You know what I mean? It's just it's like a physical dependency.
I went to the Golden Knights Rangers game 2 nights ago.
Oh yeah, was it fun?
It was incredible. But I put my phone on like this ledge. We happened to be in the front row. I was with a Rangers fan who got the ticket. I'm not a Rangers fan. And the Rangers scored and the phone fell down and it went underneath the stadium. And I was like, this could be the best thing ever. Like my friend David Tisch was like, "Oh, we got to get your phone." I'm like, "No, like we'll get it after the game." But like this felt great.
Yeah.
I'm like, "You may have to text Cass, tell her that like I don't have a phone and I'll see her in New York when I'm back." But it was like that feeling of like, oh man, like I'm free.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that was awesome.
You just broke the chains. Yeah. Well, Mike, I appreciate your time, man. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. I don't want it to keep you too long. Where can people go to get more from you?
Just
and from
cassandmike.com. We're everywhere.
At Cass and Mike on Instagram.
Yeah,
and that's Cass with a K.
Kass and Mike. We're at Lazerow. It's easy to find us. And we have a great community, Founders Farm, which is entrepreneurs helping other entrepreneurs.
Great.
And email us anytime, info@Cass and Mike. And if you have a really good deal, please, none of the shitty deals, but good deals. We love entrepreneurs.
Good deals only at Cass and Mike over on Instagram or cassandmike.com. That's Cass with a K, cassandmike.com to check out some of the stuff that they're putting out there. People come on the show all the time and they give you ways to reach out to them. And it blows my mind that you guys still don't do it sometimes. So reach out, drop a line, at least tell them thanks for coming on and doing this. It's never going to be bad for you to reach out to more people and get connected to more people. So Mike, I appreciate your time. I know you have a lot of stuff going on, so I don't take that lightly. Everybody else tuning in, remember to leave every relationship better than you found it. Catch you in the next episode. Peace out.